All right. So happy Wednesday, May 12th. Just a couple of announcements to remind everyone about the Take Action Challenge that's still happening. So make sure that you're checking off those things on your digital tracker. I really love this competition that they did because it's focused around not the results. It's not focused around like Success Club or focused around rank advancement. It's focused around the actions that are required for those things to be the byproduct. And I think that this is where we learn a lot in our business too. So learning how to fit those into the pockets of time. And then we have, I know everyone was focused on the promo codes in the beginning, but don't forget that this is one of our biggest sales of the year too. For those of you who are new and you don't know, it's our Summer Strong sale. So they do this in May to get people, capture their attention of, oh crap, June is here. And with that comes summer, with that comes tank tops and shorts and bathing suits, and people want to start getting in shape. So it's really trying to capture that audience that is ready for that. So all challenge packs and completion packs above $150 are $20 off. Pretty much I'm leading with the Let's Get Up challenge pack for everybody because it's cheap and inexpensive, I should say. And it gets them everything. So there's that. And then if you missed, I got to speak on the National Wake Up Call this last week, which was awesome. Such a cool opportunity. I had to be extremely filtered and careful with what I said around Shakeology. Like I was, I don't want to say threatened, but warned many times, not to really talk about Shakeology's health benefits at all. So that was a struggle, but I still think there's some helpful, like tangible things in there for especially new coaches around talking about Shakeology and getting people to stay focused on our holistic approach and things that we've talked about in our team. So that recording, if you missed it, is always going to be live up in the Beachbody Champions page or the Team Beachbody Coach 411 page. With that being said, any questions off the top of your guys' head about anything logistical, like business-wise, before we dive into book talk? If not,
actually, yeah, the success tracker is like, so I haven't done anything with it, like the posting. And the thing is, I make like the Shakeology every day, like full on shake, blended with ingredients, like, but I'm not like taking a picture or tracking it. So when you say success tracker, I know that the company is doing something, right, where they're doing like $100 bonuses and stuff. Is that through the app or is that through the website?
It's through the website. So let me show you really quick, just in case someone else has this question and are watching the recording.
You can do it through your phone though.
Yes, but it's different than the Beachbody On Demand app.
You have to be like on a browser.
You have to be, you have to go to coach.teambeachbody.com. You'll sign in.
I actually like the way it looks on the phone. It's funny.
Yeah, it looks like an app.
Yeah.
Like when you're looking at it on the browser. And then you're going to go to Grow My Business. And it's in one of the drop downs here. And see daily activity tracker right here. So this is where you're going to go through and check off, I worked out, I drank my Shakeology. And when you do, as you do all these things, you're going to check them off. And it'll say the percentage amount that you've done here of your business building activities, which is awesome. There's a timer here that you could time the time that you're working. There's training and support is right here, as well as Shakeology follow-up questions. So for your people who've ordered Shakeology, you can use this Shakeology follow-up guide of questions to ask them. And it's really awesome because they have sample, like if they say no, ask why. And here's some sample like conversation stuff. So it's a really awesome tool. I really love it. But when on the days that you complete it, It used to be 50%, and I feel like they changed it to 100. I could be wrong. I have to look at the FAQ. On the days that you complete it, you're entered into the raffle for the Take Action Challenge, and it's not just money. It's like an all-inclusive trip to the Riviera Maya, mixed fitness bike, a workout for your team with one of the super trainers, a call for for your team with Carl. So there's a lot of different giveaways. If you look up Take Action Challenge FAQ, you can read all the details. That's one way you enter. Go ahead, Felisa.
I was just gonna say, like, I love this challenge and I think it's amazing too, but it's like so frustrating for me because I haven't been doing it because I do some stuff, but not really that much. So I figured it's like one of those all or nothing things. And I thought that like, if you don't do 100%, like they don't, you don't get entered. And so I haven't been doing it, but I want to get in the practice of it. But like my job is a little bit different than most people. My desk is actually right in front of everyone. Like anyone who walks into that place sees me, and all of the employees who walk anywhere see me. So I can't just pull out my phone like a lot. So it's just, I'm still, there's just, yeah. I'm like, oh man, I want that bike.
It's a challenge. I can resonate with you just because of when I was working in the prison, it was the same. Like I didn't have my phone. I didn't have internet really. So it is so hard. It's so hard and you're commuting too.
Yes, an hour each way.
Yeah. So it's like, I remember that was when I had to keep my life. So, I mean, I only had one baby at the time, so that's different. Now you have 3 kids and you've got school and you've got all these things. So finding those like pee breaks, I don't even know, like Katrina talks about sending invites when you're on the toilet or something. It is hard to find what works for you. But I will tell you, in the future, you're going to have another coach like this. And however you figure out how to make it work right now, even in like pockets of 5 minutes, will be so encouraging to that coach.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and I just have
go ahead.
Peloton, is that whole like business emerging? Because I've been seeing like the commercials, or like I don't even know where, because I don't watch TV, so I don't even know where I've been seeing them lately. But the Peloton bike thing, is that still happening? Is that like?
It's not the Peloton. It's similar. No. It's a different company. It's called Mixed Fitness. Yeah, MYX, a Mixed Fitness. And it's similar to the Peloton. I've heard a lot of people really love the Mixed Fitness bikes, and there's a reason they chose Mixed Fitness instead of Peloton. That is still happening. There's a product announcement a week from today on May 19th. It's a really big deal. There's at least one new product that's going to be announced that I could finally talk to you guys about, because I've been in a test group for it, and it's in the holistic health world and in the desire of people right now, people who want to boost their immunity, want to feel calm and grounded with stress, like want to stress support and feel more focused and less scattered. It's going to be a very powerful supplement. So I'm very excited for you guys to be able to know about that. That's going to be announced on the 19th. I think he's going to touch on that merger as well on the 19th, thing of becoming a publicly traded company. And I want to say there's something else as well, with the hints that I'm getting from my corporate mentor.
I got a survey for that. Survey that I was asking all about like the stress and the sleep and
oh, cool.
Yeah, and I usually try to do those because I feel like, well, shoot, I want them to know what I want. And it like even asked how much I was willing to spend, and what supplements I felt like might suffer as far as purchases if the supplement was available. And it even talked about your skin luminosity and your skin, like a lot of the skin. And I'm like, give me that crap. Like, I'm like, whatever you can do that's gonna make my skin look better, then I'm all about that.
That's funny. That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. So there should be more details on that soon. I have a feeling though, from what I'm hearing, the full launch of that bike won't be till Summit, like closer to Summit. I don't know for sure, but
And is there a multivitamin?
There is. It's old school. Like I've never used it because we market Shakeology replaces our multivitamins. But yeah, it's called Activate.
Yeah, and I like was doing peeking around, and I
Yeah.
saw creatine and the multivitamin, and I did not know that those were there. So
Mhm.
so is that we can say that though, that it's a
Yeah.
pretty much a replacement for the Shakeology is pretty much a replacement for a multivitamin.
A lot of people use it in replacement. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
It's just for people who need more isolated, like fortification of those vitamins. Medicines, but I've
Okay.
heard good things about it, but I've never tried it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Of course. Okay, good questions. All right, guys, let's dive in. So last week we went over the first 3 chapters, and pull up my notes here. It was the law of the lid, right? Your leadership ability determines your level of effectiveness or success. We talked about the law of influence, that the true measure of leadership is influence, influencing others to take action. That is leadership. And then we talked about the third law, the law of process, that leadership does not develop in a day. It takes time and consistency, and there's a process to it. And so that was really powerful for me, those 3. And so today we're talking about the law of navigation and the law of addition. In chapter 4, the law of navigation, just a couple bullet points before we dive into our conversation. It starts out by saying anyone can steer the ship, but it takes a leader to chart the course. And last week we learned about the difference with like management and leadership, the difference with people having a title of leadership and actually influencing people. It's so true, right? You think of a big cruise ship or a Navy boat or whatever, anyone can drive the ship and do what they're told to keep it on course. But it takes a true leader to plan the map out, like where they're going, changing direction, pivoting. If there's a storm coming and you need to save your people, how are you going to pivot directions so that you can avoid, you protect your people, right? And so these analogies really help me with understanding what leadership really is. I'm going to be honest with you guys. My coach, Liz Hartkey, is literally the queen of leadership in our entire company. She's the best at speaking to it. She really does have a gift there, and she teaches multi-million-dollar earners how to improve their leadership. This is the business that she's actually in the process of launching right now, is a leadership course for high level entrepreneurs, like $1 million a year entrepreneurs. And so when she would tell me, like it comes down to leadership. If you want to be successful in your Beachbody business, it comes down to leadership. I didn't really understand it. Like I thought, okay, my natural personality is to start teaching. I'm going to teach them how. I'm just going to teach them how. I thought to me that was leadership. And she told me more recently, teaching and leadership are 2 different things. And I was like, oh, that's annoying. In my brain, I'm like, oh, why? I don't understand it. And so these different analogies are very helpful for me. And these 2 chapters specifically, I've seen where I've done things wrong and, opportunities for improvement. So I'm just really thankful to be doing this with you guys. So for my question for you, so we learned that a leader must be willing to navigate the course for their followers. So just a big picture, I'd love for you to unmute yourself and say off the top of your head, what does this, with the law of navigation in mind, what does this look like as a coach to be a good leader? What's our responsibility? What should we be doing with the law of navigation as coach?
I'm behind, so I don't know. I don't know
That's
what the law of navigation is. I'm all, let's look at this.
Well, I think because it talked a lot about planning and researching, asking others who have gone through same situations or who know more about it. So for me, I feel like that is something that's really important because if we expect to lead people and get people, you know, that want to join us, that we should know what we're talking about. We should know, you know, what's in our Shakeology, why it's so good for us, why we should be taking it. Otherwise, if we can't explain that to anyone, if we don't really know or understand what we're talking about, then we can't get people to, you know, want to drink it consistently. Like just as an example.
Yeah. I think
Also
that's great.
action, I think taking action and like being a product of like what you're asking them to do too. It's so easy to, you know, ask somebody to do something or to tell them like to be successful you need to do XYZ, but to be a product of that and actually showing that you're doing that, and so that they're actually seeing, so that they're actually able to duplicate that essentially, I think is also a big part of that, of the navigation. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what I'm getting from them is it sounds like what Liz was trying to say, like the difference between a teacher and a leader. A teacher will teach someone how to do it, but they don't do it. So like, you know, somebody who teaches someone how to invest in stocks, but they're not investing in stocks, they're just teaching people about them. You know, so like Sarah was saying, which I really liked, you know, the taking action. And I think you're the person that goes first. That's why you're the leader, right? So you lead, and we talked about this last time, by example. So I'm the one that kind of charts the course. I navigate, I figure it out. They can follow what I do, or they can change their course a little, but they're still following my lead, if that makes sense. Like you don't necessarily, like an army, when you're at war, you're following your captain, but you're not all in a line, right? You're not following them exactly as they walk. You're not taking each step that they take exactly how they take it, but you see where they're at and where they're going, and you follow in your way. So that's kind of what I think as far as the same with coaching. I will, if you're a good leader as a coach, like for Elena, I'll say to her or show her what I do. I'll say, this is how I do this, but definitely make it your own. If this doesn't work for you, you don't have to do it this way. This is just a one way of doing it, but you're still showing them how it can be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Teaching how to pivot, and absolutely. So in this chapter, it talks a lot about, oh yeah, go ahead, Elena.
Oh, I was just going to say the other thing too about the, they talked about the faith and the facts, which is probably the biggest, I don't know, because I know we talk about that a lot in Beachbody. You have to believe that you can do it. You have to see yourself. Like, remember Felisa, when we did that vision call where she's like, dream as big as you think, like, how far do you want to go? And just picture where you want to be, everything that, you know, how many hours a day do you want to work? How, you know, where do you want to live? Like all of these things. And so I think about that, like you have to be able to believe that you can do it, but you also have to be able to be realistic and know, what do I have to do in order to get what I want?
Absolutely. That's so important. Thanks for sharing that. So there were two stories, right? There's a story of the competition of the race to the South Pole, and there's two different men, right?
That's a terrible story, by the way.
Horrible, horrible. But important, right? So Felisa, to kind of recap, there's competition to the South Pole, and there was two different leaders that led groups of men to plan a trip. And one of them studied all of these different ways of these other people who have traveled in super cold temperatures, and took information from these other successful people. And he planned out what could go wrong, what could go right, our fuel that we're going to need, our food that we're going to need, the weight, how we're going to, like, all the specifics. And then there was another guy who didn't glean wisdom from other people and decided to do it his own way and didn't have the forethought of how much food they're going to need, even added on an extra person, even when they only planned for 4 men and had supplies for 4 men. He's like, oh yeah, come on with us, we'll add a 5th. Didn't think through where they, like, navigating how they were going to get there and what the supplies everyone was going to need. And basically that group ended up dying in the snow, which is like horrible. But there was that story. And then he briefly touched on in the military that it's widely known, like 4 plane crashes simultaneously, 4 planes will crash at the same time. And when asked why that happens, it's because when the leader is leading these other 3 planes, they are so close behind him, and he dictates the moves that they make. So he messes up, everyone messes up. And I thought that was really such a good analogy for us to remember, that we have a lot of power and we can lead people poorly and we can lead them well, right? And it's a lot of pressure. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much pressure, right? And I've seen how I have led people into burnout personally. And like some of you have felt that because of the way that I've led how to build this business and how it's worked for me and stuff. So I wanted to ask you guys what your thoughts are and what are your takeaways on those 2 stories, on the 2 men racing the South Pole and the story of the 4 military planes crashing. Is there something that that really stuck out to you that you're like, oh, that's a light bulb moment, this is how I'm going to apply that?
For myself, the North Pole one really did, because I'm in a brand new business of construction pretty much. And I run the company solely by myself, a construction company. And so even though I have people that I'm hiring that, are telling me that they know what they're doing, if I do not plan, like I'm working a job right now, and I have learned so much from this experience, like questions that I would have never thought to ask my client. I now know that for every job here moving forward, I will ask my client regardless. Like I will just double check, even if I don't think that they care, I'm still going to ask them. So like in the terms of like being prepared, I really see the difference of how a company or even a person that is trying to run any type of organization can really like set their business up for success, or can really like drive it into the ground by being prepared, by asking questions, by knowing what you're getting into, by literally educating yourself. I feel as though like we in business, we're so quick to jump on new businesses, but we're lacking the education aspect. Like we don't take the time to get educated because everything is just like, just do it, just get started. And it is important to get started, but it's so important to get educated if you want to be successful and to really continue to grow. And so I think in both stories, it really hit for me in that area more than in Beachbody quite yet. Just because I kind of am familiar with the MLM strategy of like leadership, but in this type of business, that really was just like a boom for me of like, man, like the difference in what my success could be in building this business could be really night and day with preparation and doing, more work, putting that more work in of like taking that extra time in the beginning to ask all those questions and to really learn before I go and start working and bringing on people to continue. So that was my takeaway from the stories.
Yeah, I totally agree there. I think that's powerful.
Yes.
I'd written down that we all have to remember, no matter where we're at in this business, that our goal is for people to be successful in their health goals and in this business over the long run, and not just like you were saying, like we have to prepare ourselves and strategize for the long run and not hit immediate burnout. But to work with balance and to have boundaries and to not sacrifice their family, and everything. Cause it's very easy when you come into this business and and I know Felisa will totally resonate with this, and Jamie too, of having a quick success. It's very exciting. And it can be very easy to not have boundaries and to burn out quickly when you are successful quickly in this business. I have absolutely experienced that. And I know that several other coaches who've built quickly in this business have experienced that. So remembering, and I think for all of us, no matter how new you are, to remember, like, what's my goal, not only for myself, but for the people who come to me and want to build a business or want to improve their health. I want them 20 years from now to be doing this and loving it. I want them 20 years from now to be healthier and to still be drinking their Shakeology because they understand the health benefits, and to still be able to figure out, how to maintain a healthy, nutritional approach because they love it and they've come to love it, and their workouts because they love it. To be focused on our holistic approach of our 5 transformation elements because they see the value in it, and they're not constantly bouncing back between keto and vegan and this diet pill and this shake and this product, but to teach them, focus on this. And the same with our business. Our business model is so brilliant, but it takes time and it takes consistency, and you have to continue to find joy in it. And you do have to do things that you don't feel like doing sometimes because it's the nature of any job. But how do you build something that means something to you, that has those values that you want to have in your life of fulfillment and freedom and financial, making money for your family so that you can give them the life that you want. This is an opportunity for all those things. And I think that if we come from that place, for each of us, it might look a little bit different of what your business looks like and the business that you want to teach other people. But if we come from that place and ask ourselves the questions, what do I need to teach this person or show this person, or how do I need to lead by example so that it's communicated what, the plan, the vision of what this could be for them. Does that make sense? So it's not just let's get to diamond in 30 days and then stop quit because you've sacrificed your family, you are burnt out, people are going to start dropping off. You know what I mean? How do we set this up right for people? And that was really what stuck out to me.
I think from what you're saying, for me, it's with this business, I think that's one of the biggest things that I feel like, and Elena can tell you whether I'm doing this or not because she's on here and can call me out, but I feel like that's my thing, is that even when I get down or even when I get frustrated or feel like I'm failing in multiple areas of my life, the one thing that I feel like I keep at the forefront of my mind is don't give up. As Jamie likes to quote me on, never stop starting. So this business, you continue to restart. And I don't mean restart the business, but you redo so many things. You're never going to find that perfect thing that works for always. And I think that's very hard for perfectionists like myself, because I want to have a system and that system be in place, and to always have that system in place and to just use that system and be happy with that system. And it doesn't work for Beachbody. You have to change, and you have to be willing to go with the flow and be that person that will be there in a year. Because in this kind of an MLM's period, like Sarah probably knows, and if you've done I've done so many, it's ridiculous. But one thing that I've realized, and I've always been a Beachbody coach, even when I did other things, is that I'm here for me, and you have to be there for yourself first and foremost. If you're doing Beachbody for the money, then you're probably not going to be successful. But if you're doing it because it's something that brings, like you said, that you latched on, it brings you passion, it brings you joy, it's your therapy, whatever it is. And then from that, you continue to do that, and you continue to show other people that joy and that passion, then eventually, no matter how long it takes, you're going to build a business because people are going to see that in you.
Right. And going back to this law of navigation, right? You're pointing to what is your North Star? What is it you're building? Where are you going? What are you planning for? And I'm glad you shared that, because it's so important that we stay connected with that, because it will be hard. We all know that. It will be hard. And I think part of this law is important to set those expectations of telling people in their health journey and in the business, it's going to get hard. You're not going to want to do it a lot of the time. Like, there's going to be so many times that you're going to want to quit in both areas of your life. Who are you going to be when that happens? Just like if you were planning for this expedition to the North Pole, these people, mind you, I was thinking about this packed group of men that's like, we want to win this contest. Let me risk my life and go experience horribly cold temperatures. And I don't know what's going to happen, but they chose it. Why did they choose it? And that was something that like stood out to me too. What expectations are we setting for people for their health journey and in the business? I think that's a really important thing to think about, because people will choose hard, but if they think it's going to be easy because you're telling them it's going to be fun and easy, and then it becomes hard, a lot of them are going to drop like flies because they're like, oh, this isn't what I signed up for, you know? Okay, so I wrote down a few things because he talked about reflective thinking, and this is something I am horrible at. I am always a problem solver, moving forward, what's next, that's my brain. And so when he talked about reflective thinking and how it's so powerful, because sometimes your failures are your most valuable lessons, which I 100% agree with. I wanted to do some bullet points on reflective thinking on building a solid star diamond business, because that's what all of us are building towards. Is we're doing this as we build to diamond together and build star diamond and mentor other people to build their star diamond businesses. And I did a few bullet points on failures of other people who have done this, who have said, I want to build a star diamond business, that I have seen and just from my experience. They say they want it, but never believe they can or prioritize the time and action. I can't remember if it's John C. Maxwell or Dave Ramsey who says, if you want to know someone's priorities, you look at their calendar and their checkbook, because that's really where they're investing themselves in. So I see coaches say, I want to be an elite coach. I want to be a star diamond coach. I want this. I want to have this much, earn this much money. I want to impact this amount of people. But in their core, they don't believe that they can, and they never prioritize making it happen. Number two, they stop being a product of the product, and they go and they try and teach other people how to do it, but they stop doing it themselves. They lack intention with their time. They have no boundaries, and they burn out because they're working too much, but unnecessarily on things that aren't important to actually build your business. And they don't speak to the business. So they build this diamond or the star diamond business on discount coaches. And that was one of my mistakes. What happened? Sorry. Hold on 1 second. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Liam, come here, buddy. Okay. And then success clues in this reflective thinking, success clues of people who have been successful in this. Can you guys hear me okay? I think Logan sat on him. Liam, I need you to be quiet, buddy. Okay, so success clues of people who have done it. They do it quickly, and in their mind, it's simple. And people who really have grown successful, thriving businesses, they don't make it complicated. And most of them grow to diamond quickly, but they don't stop because that's not the end game for them. And then they grow to star diamond quickly, and then they teach other people how to do it simply. They work with intention. When they sit down to work, it is work time. And that way they can turn it off and go spend time with their family or go do their other projects or things that's important to them. They have a roadmap of where they're going and how they're going to get there, and daily they envision it happening. And if you listen to the very successful, like Brittany Leggett and Danielle Natoni and all of the very successful coaches that are true leaders in our business, all of them will say this. Every single day, they look at their vision of where they're going, of the mentor they want to be, of the team that they want to lead, of how they want to help other people be successful, why that's important to them and their family. And they keep that at the forefront of their minds, because the action will come when you remember why you're doing something. They understand why it's important. Those business goals are important to them at a personal level and are motivated to make it happen. So why is Diamond really important to me? Why is 5-star Diamond really important to me? Why is Elite really important to me? Why is this income goal really important to me and my family? Why are they counting on me? Why am I so driven to make this happen? Why am I so driven to help other people be successful in this business? Why am I so driven to work in this field of health and wellness where we're really changing people's lives in this culture? Why is that so important to me? That's at the forefront of their minds. They feel that the power of what they're doing positively impacts other people's lives with both the wellness approach and with the business. We're changing people's lives. My life is forever changed because of this business. So I feel an obligation to teach other people, which is why I show up almost every single week and do a business webinar. I don't know if anyone's going to show up. I don't know who's going to show up, but it's my obligation, I feel like, to share that with other people. And then they magnetize people to what they're doing because with their consistent excitement and joy for what they do. I'm going to post these in our page so that everyone can kind of see them, but those are really the two sides of the coin that really stuck out to me practicing this reflective thinking. Okay, let's see. All right, wrapping up this chapter here. Being able to navigate for others requires a leader to possess a positive attitude. You've got to have faith that you can take your people all the way. If you can't confidently make the trip in your mind, you're not going to be able to take it in real life. I thought that was so important. On the other hand, and this is what Elena was talking about earlier, on the other hand, you also have to be able to see the facts realistically. You can't minimize obstacles or rationalize your challenges and still lead effectively. And I think that is so important for us to remember, right? If you don't go in with your eyes wide open, you're going to get blindsided. And then lastly, it's not the size of the project that determines its acceptance, support, and success. It's the size of the leader. And there are some great questions at the end that I hope everyone takes some time to answer for themselves. Like, do you know where you're going? Should you take people with you? Have you shared the vision and the process with your team or with your future team on social media and your marketing? Have you shared where you're going with this and why it's important to you? And then using that reflective thinking of how has poor planning hindered you in the past and how you take proper learning steps moving forward. Powerful chapter. Anything else you guys want to share on that before we dive into chapter 5 real quick? Okay. All right, so chapter 5 was the law of addition. Let's see. And this is really, all this comes down to is that leadership comes from servanthood. That if you're going to be a powerful leader, you have to serve others. You cannot be only focused on yourself, or else you won't be influencing others. And so one of the questions was, have you ever known someone with a management title or a leadership title, but in the group, they were not the leader? There was actually someone else who was influential in that group. Oh my gosh. I think that we probably all have. So he tells the story of Costco's CEO that goes out of his way to make sure his people know that he cares. And that was really, like, as much as I'm annoyed at Costco right now, that was so, I really loved, like, oh my gosh, hold on one second. Okay. So if you haven't read that part, the CEO of Costco goes to all of his stores every single year, he's known by his people, like the people who work on the floor of every Costco store love to see him. They know he cares. Costco's employees get paid 47% higher than the closest competition. And he's like very bottom line, keep costs low, keeps so that we can save people money. You want to take care of your employees because you're going to have a better product in the outcome. And it really came down to, as leaders, our people need to know that we care about them. We have to take the time. For me right now, that's really hard because of my life circumstances. Like time, and Felisa, like that's really hard. We all have, and Sarah, you're running a business, all of us have things in our lives that makes that part really hard. So I want to challenge all of us to, with what we just talked about, with like the faith and the belief and where we're going, but also eyes wide open. I can't commit to doing 40 one-on-one calls every single week in my circumstances. I know that I will set myself up for failure and frustration. But what is something that you could do to put this law into practice so that your people know that you care? Something that would fit into your schedule, something that will make you feel good, something that will serve your people. And sometimes that's just a group call. That's like our team calls. I do show up for these every single week, no matter who can and who can't. I show up in my bod group every single day, and I'm doing leaderboards in there. And I've noticed a huge growth in the activity in there just because of that. And I'm not gonna lie, those leaderboards are taking me hours right now because there's so many people. But like, it's a great problem to have, but ask yourself that, like, what's one thing that you can do to put this law into action? Okay, so questions for you guys. As a coach building a strong Star Diamond team, how does this law of addition apply to us? What should our priorities be when we work our business? Any thoughts, ideas?
Being honest with your journey, which I'm still working on doing, being transparent with the process. I was just listening to a podcast yesterday, and she was talking about how you have to share your journey. You have to like share, where you're at and then where you're going. And in order to do that, that's how people are going to connect to you. So, and that's how you're serving others, essentially. Like, you don't even know, our brain is always to think, I want to serve all these people, but just if you could start narrowing that down to just one person, if you could just help one person and and change their life, essentially, then that is automatically going to duplicate. And I think that being able to be transparent is something that's really hard, especially when you are trying to build a business, especially when you already are, have a certain, what's the word? The certain way people perceive you, right? So people perceive me as already successful, like have it all together because I homeschool and all these things. So to be transparent and be like, I'm struggling right now is really hard for me to do, right? But it is part of my journey. And so something that I actually just decided to do is to create a close friends list of the people that engage with me the most on social media, so that I can be more transparent with just those people at first, right? And because at the end of the day, our journey is what we have to offer people. It's because that's what people can connect with. It's not our success, it is the journey that we're on. So I think that being transparent and really and being a model of what we're sharing, of what we're doing, what we're trying to get them to do. So being transparent in the journey, it's hard, but also showing the process and working your ass off so that you can be but look, through all this is what I was able to achieve, because that really does give people inspiration. And I've seen it happen so many times where one person is inspired and that person it takes that same action. So in my opinion, that is where I definitely see
I
that.
love it. Totally agree. Thanks for sharing. While you guys are thinking about that too, another kind of follow-up question that you kind of touched on, Sarah, was how can we take our struggles and our hardships and actually use them to our advantage in our business with this thought in mind of serving others?
So one of the things,
Okay.
oh, go ahead, Lisa.
Nope, Elena, you go for it. You read it.
No, it's fine. I was just going to say, one of the things about adding, value, I was just thinking, because after that Instagram call that we had, because that's really where I've been trying to focus. I've been trying to keep just like my Facebook page just for like my family and stuff, and because I don't, just because that's me. But so for the Instagram, so I've just been taking that, and by adding value to people's lives, I'm like, okay, well, if I want to grow my Instagram, like he said, you have to post things that are valuable to people. And I'm thinking, well, what's valuable to people? So I really just sat down and thought, because I do want to post things that are valuable. I want to help people.
Mhm.
I want people to see what I'm posting and be like, oh, I want to try that, or that inspired me. So basically I just sat down and I thought, okay, what could be valuable? And I just put this thing together where, okay, I need to be consistent, because I'm not going to be valuable if I'm just showing up here or there on Instagram, right? I need to, I shared like my meal prep. I'm finally doing that. I came up with recipes that I feel like I really love and that are easy and simple, and that some other busy mom or something out there can be like, oh, that's so simple, I can totally do that. Or quotes, things that help with stress and anxiety, because I deal with stress and anxiety a ton. So I thought other people that they would value that. So just things like that. I just said, what is it that could be valuable? And I just made a list, and now I'm working on finding all those things and just trying to be consistent with it.
I love that. And it's, you perfectly answered that question, because our value, and just like Sarah said, our value is our journey. Our value is actually our struggles. Our value is, so now, and I've been the same, right? So stress overload. I know so many people are struggling with stress. I know there's other moms struggling with the same things that I am. I know that's part of what makes us relatable. And so, Elena, with this, now you just look up hashtags of like stress support. Oh, I like this post, I'm going to reshare it,
Oh, yeah.
and then it makes it so simple. And then you're establishing value to other people, you're serving them, and they, in turn, you are looked at as a leader because you're just a couple steps ahead of them. And that's all leadership really needs to be, is you're a couple steps ahead of people. You're just willing to go first in your vulnerability of sharing, hey, this is what's going on in my life. And this has been really hard, but I refuse to stay here. Here's what I'm going to do about it. You're going to start seeing these quick recipes or or whatever, inspirational posts. That's what you can expect when you come here to my feed. That's what you can expect when you come work with me. I will always be honest in my journey, and I'm going to share with you what's working with me. And that's why our business can work for anyone. You don't have to have a background in this, because it's just you saying, I'm going first. I'm going to add value to other people, and I'm going to stay committed. I need you to stay committed with me, because it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's the same thing what she was kind of saying. Well, and both Sarah and Elena, like for me right now with where I'm at, my journey is so different than where I was a month ago, 2 months ago. And so the other day, I did a live video because I felt like I kind of had been hiding the fact that I got a full-time job from people at first. One, because I wasn't sure I was going to be happy about it. I wanted to just kind of I don't even know, like come to grips with the fact that I was back working full time. But honestly, part of it was I didn't want people to go, oh, well, I thought she was a fitness and nutrition coach. well, I guess that business isn't going well, or for them to even think maybe I'm not doing it, anymore. And I had all these reasons, that I wasn't going to share that. And then I decided, and I think it was probably after the last call when you were talking, how, because I have felt a little unrelatable to a lot of people. Not because I feel like I connect with people, but it's different. Connecting with people and being relatable are two different things. I hear all the time that I have people who message me all the time that I inspire them, but do I really? Because they're not taking action. And I think part of that is because they don't feel like they can do what I do. Like, oh, I see her, I want to be her, but I can't be her. So I got on a live video and I basically said, I can't remember what the title was, but I put it something catchy. Oh, yeah. First time in forever. And, people are like, well, first time in forever, what? Right. And so I had quite a few people, and I even got messages after this because it was the first time since probably a year and a half, 2 years, at least a year and a half, that I decided not to do my workout. It was almost 9 p.m. before I was going to get started. I was 100% completely overwhelmed and exhausted. Normally my workouts help me with my overwhelm and my stress. At that moment in my day, it was only going to make my day worse. And so I chose not to do it. And that is, if you know me, you know that like that doesn't happen. Like that's like my thing is my non-negotiable is my workout because it is my therapy. And is the one thing I feel like I have control over in my life per se, like on the worst day, right? Like on my absolute worst day of my life, that's still one thing I can do. It's like I can still do my workout. And I got on there and I told them, this is where I'm at right now in my life. I'm working a full-time job where I commute an hour each way. I have 3 kids who are still partially home and partially at school. I'm still trying to work my coaching business. BTW, don't forget, I'm still here. And I'm still doing, and I think a lot of people forget that as coaches, like we're still focused on our journey. Like I still have to meal prep and meal plan, and I still have to make sure I get my workouts in, and I still pay attention to my own self-care and health, because people think that just happens for us, like it's automatic. And I felt so much better after getting on there because I felt like I was hiding something from people.
Yeah, it's always a bad feeling.
Yeah, I felt like I was hiding it, and I was like, that's it's silly because like you said, there are so many people out there who see me and think, oh, well, of course she can get her workout in every day because she's at home all day. Of course she can meal prep because she's at home all day. Well, now that's not the case anymore, you guys. So, I can be more relatable, hopefully. That's what I want,
100%.
where I want to focus.
And you're teaching people now how to work in coaching in a smaller amount of time because you have to. It's the only way before you had more time. And so I think that this is an opportunity for your business to really explode, but you are learning to shift and pivot too, like going back to the law of navigation, you're learning how to pivot to do it differently than you've ever done it before because you have to, because you can't do it how you did it before. It's too time consuming, And I think that it's going to be super, super valuable. And invite to coaching from this. Like, this is why I'm so thankful I'm a coach. If I wasn't a coach, it wasn't part of my job to actually take care of myself, I'd be screwed right now,
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. We've got a couple more minutes. I just wanted to end with the 4 guidelines to add value to others, because just like leadership, sometimes adding value can be ambiguous. Like, what really is adding value? And in this chapter, he has 4 guidelines. Number 1, we add value to others when we truly value others. Number 2, we add value to others when we make ourselves more valuable to others. And number 3, we add value to others when we know and relate to what others value. We're just going back to being relatable, right? He said inexperienced leaders are quick to lead before knowing anything about the people they intend to lead. Mature leaders listen, learn, and then lead. And this is a good point. Ask your customers, how can I better lead you? How can I better support you? Ask on Instagram, how can I better serve you here on this platform? What do you want to know? And then number 4, we add value to others when we do things that God values. And he says, like, if you're not a believer in God, then ignore this one, but this is critical to who I am. And really, like, Jesus was the best example of leadership through servanthood. It truly is true. Like, we have to go back to humbling ourselves. We have big dreams. We have big dreams and we're going big places and we have so much potential within us, but it comes down to serving others to get there. That is our business. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining. Anything else that you wanted to share that stood out to you before we jump off? If not, have a wonderful Wednesday. I'll get this recording up soon. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for doing this book with me. I know it's like everyone has so much on their plates, but I think we're really going to reap a lot of benefits from doing it. So have a great day. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.